tweaking from on the Somerset County ethics ordinance by Mr. Peter DeWitt, Chairman of the License Commission. Mr. DeWitt, if you will come forward and enlighten us, we will.
Shall I take a position here?
Oh, you can come right up here.
Oh, okay.
I'm not sure that one's turned on, but you can speak.
Well, first of all, thank you all for having me. I know we share some history together. On behalf of the Ethics Commission, I say thank you. Let's not do that again. But we know that you really have no choice. Having looked at the issue from Safe for Somerset on the wind turbines, and now there's, at least the other day, I looked at WDOC and saw the story on the larger poultry facilities, and in the back of my neck, my hair rose up again, and I thought, oh, we're going back to work. But this is the nature of your job. And so we are here from the Ethics Commission to help you get through that with as little difficulty as possible. I am not going to go through the ethics ordinance with you. There will be a quiz next week, but don't worry about that. Because we could spend an inordinate amount of time discussing any one of the subsections that's in there. I can tell you from the previous exercise on the wind energy issue, we spent approximately 15 hours in closed session on that particular issue. Half of that time was spent on one word in this document, and yet it's key to everything that goes on in our determination. As an introduction, I went onto the web the other day to learn when my commission is meeting and what my agenda looks like, and unfortunately it was not on the web, but I noticed on the way out, looking at the homepage, that the Somerset County motto is always the same. And I looked at that and thought, it's not always the same. And we are not the same as it was in 1666. And my mind rolled to a poem written by the renowned poet Robert Allen Zimmerman in 1964, and the times they are changing. And the times they are changing, and Somerset County is changing. It may be slower than some care to have it change, and it may be faster than some care to change, but it is changing. And the important point on this is you sit almost on the critical point of that change. You don't have a way to escape it. You are on the cutting edge here for the future of this county. We saw that in the industrial wind farm issue. And I'm sure there are many others, and you're coming up on another one. You're going to discuss it later this evening. The problem with many of these proposals, when they become controversial like this, is that you generate friends and you generate opponents. I don't worry about my friends too much, but my opponents I do. And I can tell you that the Ethics Commission, while we have not handled a lot of cases, was impressed with the sophistication of the Safe for Somerset complaint. We found it to be well put together. We found it to be truthful. Most of the facts to be verifiable. And so we came down to a discussion of semantics in the end. But this sophistication will not go away. If you have another large-scale type of proposal such as this, you can bet that the people who are opposed to it will, if they are not part of Safe for Somerset, will be talking to them about how they did what they did and how they can improve on it. We become another stop in the road, speaking of the Ethics Commission here. And if Safe for Somerset can find the Ethics Commission to be an ear to, again, try to leverage their agenda, then any other group can as well. Now, the Ethics Commission was established by the county ordinance, which was required by state law. And its purpose is to ensure impartiality in our decision-making and allowing us to have independent judgment on issues that are before us. It covers all county elected officials, all county employees, and all members of boards and commissions appointed by commissioners. So congratulations, you're in with the rest of us. Now, the basic premise is that you as a covered person, if you have a conflict of interest, you cannot participate in the matter in which you have that conflict. But it goes beyond that and requires that if you have any qualified relative who has an interest in that matter, you must also not participate in any discussions, any deliberations, any votes, anything dealing with that matter. You have a conflict of interest, we're done. Now, if you do have a conflict of interest, if it's determined that you do, or you determine that you do, the first thing you must do is declare that conflict to your chair, and then you must recuse yourself from any further activities regarding that matter. Now, I mentioned that there were a couple of terms that we need to look at from this particular ordinance. The first one is qualified relative. Who is a qualified relative? And it's defined in our charter, our ethics ordinance, as your spouse, your parent, your child, or any of your siblings. So if any of those people have an interest, it's the same as you having that interest. Because that is defined in the ordinance, we, as the Ethics Commission, have no free rein here. However, we have, as a result of the deliberations on the wind energy issue, requested that the commissioners consider amending the charter, or the commission, amending the ordinance to include spouses of the parents, should the parents have a different spouse, the children and the siblings. That would get us around a huge roadblock that we ran into in that particular deliberation. The second item, word that we deal with is the word interest itself. Interest. What is an interest? Okay? Now here we have no definition in the county ordinance, but we're not really free to go down the path of any path we choose. We do have a state definition in the state law, which is a legal or equitable economic interest that is owned or held wholly or partially, jointly or severably, directly or indirectly, and it goes on from there. We did not adopt that particular definition in the Save for Somerset decision. That doesn't mean that we may not go back to that. We're free to do that. Now, for those of us who are covered, all of us here, each of us has an affirmative responsibility on the issues that we face to go back to our qualified relatives and determine that they do not have a conflict. One of the things that we ran into in Save for Somerset was 3 or 4 people that were interviewed as part of that process said, well, I have a brother, I have a sister, my dad, but we don't really talk, we don't communicate. Doesn't make any difference to us. One of the things that is being discussed right now is a discussion of negligence. If somebody does not go back and rigorously look, and let's face it, this is Somerset County, we have a well-woven structure in our county. People have been here a long time. Families are interwoven. Relationships are interwoven. If you have a responsibility to look, please look. Determining whether you have a conflict really starts with you, your responsibility.
What's the definition of conflict?
If you have an interest in the item that you're discussing, and it affects your ability to make a decision, you have a conflict.
But you said interest hasn't been defined, so how can you determine if you have an interest?
We can use the state definition.
Okay, but that's not included in.
It's not in the county ordinance. We adopted a different
So, commission and no commission members anywhere in the county then have been provided with a definition that you're using.
If they read the state law, they would have the definition, but it's not in the county law. The county has the right not to adopt the state definition. Doesn't mean we can't use it. And the law is very specific that we really can't use a definition that is less rigorous than the state's.
So are you saying then that the Ethics Commission would expect us as appointed members to go and read the state ethics law?
No.
Okay, what did you mean then, that we would know what interest was if we read the state law? If we don't, we don't go read the state law, and it's not part of anything in Somerset County, how are we going to know what is considered the definition of conflict of interest?
You could ask the Ethics Commission.
Does the Ethics Commission have a responsibility to provide that information to all commissions?
We do. This is the start of that.
When you say interest, are we talking financial interest?
Principally financial.
Because I have interest in a lot of things. but
Really?
So really, I mean, and I guess from where we sit and the things that we deal with, well, a zoning board almost should be headed up by someone who doesn't live in the county, that the zoning's gonna be required to change it, based on your definition.
Well, not
Because
necessarily.
we all have an interest.
We have an interwoven, we have a tightly interwoven society in this particular county. It creates major problems for us and for you as well. And this was discussed at length in, say, for Somerset. And that's why I'm saying that if you have a question, it needs to be brought before the commission.
I have chicken houses.
Okay, you have a chicken house.
I'm a real estate agent that sells chicken farms.
Mm-hmm.
I can benefit, doesn't matter to me one way or the other. Financially,
Mm-hmm.
I can gain.
Mm-hmm.
I sell farms that are existing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't specialize in trying to build new houses. Technically, if we zone out chicken houses and the industry doesn't leave, my chicken houses are worth more. So that's the flip side of it.
Mm-hmm.
To me, I don't have a conflict because I do realize both sides.
Mm-hmm.
I live on my farm.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm asking you,
Mm-hmm.
what is your opinion?
What is my opinion?
Well, it's an honest question, because I'm probably closest than anyone on the board, depending on what angle you're looking at it. If
Mhm.
you're into agriculture at all,
Mm-hmm.
this affects everybody.
Uh,
If you're in construction,
Mhm.
residential, commercial, agricultural,
Mhm.
this affects.
Mhm.
So how do you, so I guess use me specifically as an example,
Well,
because I'd like to know,
mhm.
I'd like to know up front.
Well,
Because I can sit out there and, as long as I want to show up for the ones where we can't talk.
We're not gonna let you say anything.
She's on the other foot.
I had a conversation with Gary before, when we were discussing my coming here, and he had mentioned that there are some agricultural connections on this committee. Yes, commission. And I began to think about that. That is something that we could, certainly as an ethics commission, look at, because it's different from the situation with the wind turbines. You're dealing with a community, not a set group, small group of leaseholders. Okay? You're dealing with, many people would benefit regardless of which way you go. A large class of people would. That may be different from a very small group of people benefiting. Whether you benefit or not, you benefit whether the class benefits or not,
Okay.
okay?
Similar to decisions on subdivisions, housing setbacks.
Depends on, we would
That would
certainly.
benefit, a zoning change would benefit anyone in that industry, or it could benefit.
If it was
both
global, if
ways.
it were global, yes.
Yeah, okay.
Okay?
If I could interrupt.
Sure.
The planning commission is an advisory board.
Mhm.
They don't make any final decisions on anything. They make recommendations